sit and wonder about the times that it made sense. But nowadays, I don't worry about what's past tense. My younger days, I used to hang around with mad friends. If we just fell out, I don't really know what happened. A lot of people come around to keep you stagnant, distraction. So you don't show them no compassion. We was really out here grinding, really rapping, stacking them Franklins, them Grants, and them Jacksons. Imagine if we would've never chased our passion. We probably would've never knew what happened. They was all just talk, we showed action. Once they leave, don't you let them back in. Just pack up all they stuff and send them packing. I'm blacking on anybody thinking they could act up with me. This vibe ain't for free, cause where I'm at in life, I'm only focused on me. Note the self, know yourself, focus on your health. They don't wanna help them, it, do it by yourself. Don't give them no excuse to put you on the shelf. If it's me, myself.
What's up, peeps? Welcome to today's episode of Grind Hard, Hustle Smart with me, Charles Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been a minute. It's been a while. I'm still here. Your boy just been busy. I'm doing my master's degree, my MBA, working on some other certifications, just trying to get better for you all. But that's not what I want to talk about today. So today, what's on my heart and what's on my mind is you all. But more importantly, what I want to talk about is just trusting yourself. But more importantly and more specifically, trusting yourself with making decisions. See, oftentimes we let self-doubt, self-hatred, denial, and imposter syndrome dictate and determine the decisions that we make and the decisions that we don't make. So today I just want to go over a few things I got typed up, got written down, and I just want to make sure I hit all the important points because I think it's very important for you all to understand exactly where I'm coming from with all of this. So I just want to make sure it's structured and it's to the T. Ready? Cool? All right, let's go. So why is decision-making or fearless decision-making important? Well, because a decision is better than no decision. Or more specifically, a bad decision is better than no decision at all. You see, we can't sit back and be inactive, be frozen in place, be anchored down. We must make sure that we're putting our best foot forward no matter what. But if we make no decision at all, we gain nothing. We gain nothing. So indecisiveness can kill our motivation, can kill our willpower, can kill our momentum. We want to get past these things. We want to get over the hump. But if we decide not to even jump the hump to begin with, then why are we doing this at all? Why are we even bothering to go after these things and accomplish them at all if we're just going to sit around and do nothing with these ideas and these dreams that we have, these ideations, these aspirations that we have? If we just decide to just sit back and do nothing, what's the point? So there's many things in life that we live to regret. And oftentimes it comes down to this specific thing that I'm talking about here today. Trusting yourself to make decisions. You see, there are so many times I question myself and I regret the decisions that I didn't make. More even than the decisions that I did make that turned out to be terrible decisions. But it's the ones that I didn't make that bothers me the most. Some examples can be, not giving my all when I played football, then going to college tryouts and not getting picked up to a team. And having to look back on it now and seeing a lot of people that was in, my recruiting class when I came out of high school in 2006 and thinking to myself, you know what? I could have been in the NFL. I could have been one of the greats. I could have been playing, college football. Could have been a college legend. But I didn't make the decision to work out like I was supposed to. I didn't make the decision to just keep trying and just give up. I didn't make the decision to call coaches. I didn't make the decision to bring a camera and get highlight tape. I didn't make a decision to hire a trainer and just work, even if I didn't have the money. It's those decisions that bother me the most. The decision when I was in the military not to try out for things like Ranger or SF or aviation school, those things come back and they haunt me. They bother me. Even the decision now, even though I'm about to get my master's degree here in the next few months, I think to myself, even now, I regret not doing it sooner. I didn't make the decision to even get my associate's degree earlier, my bachelor's degree earlier, and now my master's degree earlier. How far would I be if I had made the choices earlier in my life that I'm deciding to make today? How much further along would I be? Would this podcast be further? Would my speaking career be further? Or would I be in a completely different career field at all? These are some things that I question myself on daily. And it's not that I'm not confident or that I don't have any fortitude to tell myself, so what? You didn't make that decision. You're here now. Take accountability for where you are currently and move past that. I still make that decision every single day to move past the decisions that I didn't make. And I'm thankful for the experiences that I've lived throughout my life. But it's still like an aching headache in the back of my mind. Paul from the Bible would call it a thorn in my side. It's a thorn in my side constantly, daily, thinking about the decisions that I didn't make. It's those infinite what if questions that we ask ourselves. What if I had did this? What if I had did that? What if I talked to that person? What if I talked to that person? What if I went here? What if the entire time? So we got to get past that. We got to get over that because it's the decisions that we don't make that bothers us the most. And to begin to do that, let's unpack what causes fear. Ultimately, it's self-preservation. And it's not a bad thing, obviously. It's something that's been evolved with humans over time, that fight or flight mentality. And oftentimes, courage or bravery is defined as not having the absence of fear, but looking fear in the eye, having that fear and deciding to do what you see needs to be done anyway. So the root of fear comes down to that. Let's make it spiritual. Let's just say that the root of your fear, the root of my fear is the fact that I don't trust in my higher power enough. I don't trust in God enough to say, you know what, God, this is not my battle. It is yours. It's not for me to conquer. It is for you to conquer. It's not for me to walk in the room and determine that my reputation will proceed before me or that people will think of me a different type of way. It's not for me to say that, but it's for you to do it. But instead, the fear comes from, what if God doesn't like me that much? What if God isn't as powerful as I say he is? Do I even believe in God the way I say I do? It's that fight or flight, that reward versus risk calculation that we do in our mind about every decision that we make. That's the root of fear. Saying to ourselves, is it even worth it to put myself at risk for that thing? And making that calculus in your mind to say, yes, I should go for it. The risk is far less than the reward. Or to determine for ourselves, you know what? That person's not really that much. They're not worth it. Taking that chance on them or taking that risk to go into business with that person, it's not worth it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth the burden. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth the anxiety. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth it. That's the calculus that we play in our mind about every decision that we make. And it's all rooted in fear. Even with that decision, determined to interact with somebody or do business with somebody or get into a romantic relationship with somebody, is all rooted in fear, not from the fear of like a life-threatening fear, but the fear of the unknown, the fear of possible harm, the fear of possible hurt, heartbreak, the fear of just something as simple as not being able to be in control of the situation in its entirety. Because let's be real, some of us would be less fearful if we were able to be in control of the decisions that were made and dictate everything. Because in our mind, if we controlled everything, it would at least work out. And the decisions that were made, even if they were bad decisions, we can swallow that. We can be accountable for those, but we can't risk being accountable for the decision of others. It's all rooted in fear. And there's nothing wrong with fear. Healthy fear is normal. It's nothing cowardice. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I see that wasp nest. I see that bee's nest up there. Let me go a different way. Let me not play over there. Let me not put my car underneath that hornet's nest. Let me not let my kids play on top of that in-ground yellow jacket nest. You know, if you're from the South, you know about that. Yellow jackets are hornets. They nest underground. Never mind. It's a Southern thing. I'm sure they're everywhere, you know, now, but it's a Southern thing. When the yellow jackets come out, it makes everything, because they're just aggressive for no reason. They'll sting you just because they think it's funny, right? Oh, I got off track there. I'm sorry. ADHD, squirrel. Let me get back on track. And so a way to get over this root of fear, because you'll never completely be absent of fear. It's impossible. It's always okay to have just a small amount of fear, to have a healthy amount of fear, to say, you know what, let me look at this from a different perspective before I jump in feet first. And there's no safety net to catch me if it goes further than I want it to. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's some small things that we can do to get over that fear, that initial hesitation. We can take a breather, take a moment. In the surgical field, in the medical field, I think they call it I believe it's called a medical stop, where they stop and they make sure that the patient that they got on the table is the correct patient, that their social, that their birth date, all those things align, that they've properly marked out and annotated on the body that they're going to work on, that those are the right limbs or those are the right locations for where they're going to make their cuts and their incisions. Or in the military, we call it a safety pause, right? You stop and you take a perspective to make sure you got everything the way it's supposed to be, so that when you put your plan into action, it doesn't go completely haywire and you don't run into unforeseen circumstances because you didn't take that moment to stop and think it through. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want you to understand that the important key in everything I just said is that the action is still going to be taken. It's being able to look that obstacle, to look that goal, to look that milestone eye to eye and say, you know what, this scares me to death, but I'm going to do it anyway because my life is on the line. Somebody else's life is on the line. Imagine being a first-time surgical student or a medical student and having to make a decision about somebody's life in that moment and taking that scalpel and looking at this person and say, I have to make a cut here, 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 and here in order to save this person's heart. Because if I don't get in there in the proper amount of time, if I don't make the cuts in the proper way, if I don't sew it up just right, if I don't fix everything from the inside out, this person is going to die, and it's going to affect not only their specific life, but the lives of their loved ones and even mine, because I'm going to have to live with this. Imagine that. But thank God we have medical people who stand on the front lines each and every single day and decide to do it anyway. How are you going to do that in your life? It could be something as small as saying, you know what? I'm afraid to go out here and tell somebody I don't know how to do something. So when I can either go to a person who I know and I trust and say, you know what, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me? Or I don't know how to do this. Let me find a class or a subject matter expert outside of my sphere of influence who can properly show me the way. You know what? I don't know this thing. I can't read as well as I thought I could. Let me get some books, become more familiarized with words at a higher level than what I currently speak, vocabulary wise. Let me go figure out how to properly, analytically, and deductively think my way through things by solving problems, whether it be working on my mathematics or my arithmetic, problem solving. They have tons of apps for this type of stuff, right? It could be something as fun as skydiving or rock climbing, going to have a NASCAR experience, putting yourself in a position to be uncomfortable and deciding to do the uncomfortable thing anyway is the point I'm getting at. These are small, minute decisions that have a massive impact for the rest of our lives because there's momentum gaining things that help us get along each and every moment of the day. You accomplish one thing, then you accomplish another small thing and another small thing and another small thing. And the entire time you're conquering every small fear each and every single time, deciding to take the risk, deciding to put yourself out there in an uncomfortable situation, deciding to make yourself vulnerable in every small situation. And then you take that moment to look back and take inventory of how far you've come. You recognize, you know what? Wow, I've accomplished this massive thing with these small steps, just conquering fear one small step at a time. For some people, it's 10 steps. For some people, it's 1,000. For some people, it may be 10,000. But you're able to look back and say, you know what? I did that. That's why freshmen become sophomores, sophomores become juniors, and juniors become seniors, and then seniors become alumni. You look back on that degree on the wall, and you say, you know what? I did that. I put in the time. I put in the effort. I put myself out there. I put myself in an uncomfortable situation. I put myself in a position to grow. I put myself in a position to bend but not break. And I'm still standing because of it. What else can I conquer now? It's not that I'm fearless. It's that I look fear in the eye and courageously and bravely decide to do it anyway, to go after the things that I want to accomplish anyway. It's important. And this ultimately is how we build self-trust. This is why, let's go back to the example of a surgeon. They can do surgeries again and again and again, and then eventually they become confident enough to become fellows and lead surgeons and teach medical students and teach others who are less experienced than them because they finally have the confidence. They're not fearless. They don't do things recklessly, but they know how to do things the correct way. And they become confident enough to be able to explain it to others. They understand why it's necessary. They've been through the steps enough to where even if they're fearful, muscle memory will get them through. They've built enough of a portfolio of work to be able to lean against it and say, you know what, let me just, even if I'm afraid in this moment, let me lean on my experience. Let me lean on the things that I've been through in the past. Let me lean on the lessons that I've learned from my failures and my successes. Because this is what I want you to understand. This is why it's so important to build that trust in yourself and experience those failures and experience those successes, but ultimately face that fear each and every single moment of the day, because you develop a portfolio of successes and failures, and you can lean back on it and say, you know what? I'm still scared, but I know that I have a plethora of lessons behind me that can fit into this exact circumstance, this exact situation. And it's just muscle memory. You know what? I remember when I was going for my bachelor's degree and I applied for school and I had to call this individual and that individual. Let me do that again. You know what? I remember when I was trying to learn accounting 101. Let me lean back on that. That I know that assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. If I just lean back on that, I can understand the basics of accounting. Let's go back to the basics, kindergarten. I know that 1 + 1 = 2. And with that knowledge, I understand that if I go over here and do this thing, this is the results that I'm going to get. I know the cause and effect. I know that what I do has consequences, but if I know I do enough right things over here, I'll get the right consequences. I'll get the right outcome. This is why building self-trust is important. This is why building confidence is important. It's not that people are just going out here and becoming so confident in themselves and so self-absorbed that they can just go out here and put their minds to something and do anything. It's that they decide again and again that they want to face the fears that they see before them, and they go out there and they put themselves in a position to overcome them anyway. So they have built up that confidence because internally, they're still afraid of putting themselves out there. But also internally, they know that they have enough experience from the past, from their failures and their successes, that if they maneuver themselves appropriately, if they apply the tools that they've learned over a lifetime, they're going to overcome it. It's vastly important. It's important to understand clarity and letting go of perfectionism. I want to flip those two for a moment. You see, perfectionism will cloud your judgment. Perfectionism will make you more hesitant than anybody. You've seen these type of people where they want everything to be absolutely perfect, and it ends up making something last a lot longer. There's a lot more pitfalls along the journey. There's a lot more detours. And had we just done the thing and just put one foot in front of the other and take things as they come and properly gain some perspective from the inside and out, we could have got there a lot quicker, finished things with a lot more confidence, and things would have been done with more quality. Perfectionism can cloud your sight, can cloud your vision. Perfectionism sounds good and all, but it's a nice word for asking a lot of what if questions and thinking that you've properly put the pieces of the puzzle in the right places to the point where you think that you've solved every what if, but the world and entropy will constantly throw things at you. So it's impossible for you to completely solve every situation. This is why scientists, when they give you an answer, they will tell you, I can't guarantee you with 100% certainty. This is why we have tolerances for things. When I was in the military, I was a calibrator. I worked on electronics, right? And so I understood that I couldn't say for sure that this number will read this number 100% of the time, but I will guarantee you that this number will read within plus or 4% of this number. With reasonable certainty, I can guarantee you that this will work. But nothing's certain. Nothing's 100%. Life is going to life. We know that already. Get over it. Let go of perfectionism. It's holding you back, and it's stopping you from getting to where you want to be quicker or in the time that you were ordained and planned to be there. So let's talk about clarity. See, I believe clarity is the opposite of that. Clarity is understanding that you don't have all the answers, but you know where you want to end up. Clarity is saying that I don't know everything that's going to happen on this journey, but I know the ultimate endpoint. I know the ultimate goal. I know where I want to be. I know how I want to get there. And I know the state of mind I want to be in when I get there. Because when I get there, I want to show up and I want to show out. So I can't waste energy at the beginning of the trip trying to make sure everything goes as planned, trying to make sure everything is perfect, because I know it won't be. That's what we got to get an understanding of. So let's talk about strategies for fearless decision making. You can use something called the 5-second rule. You can use a pros and cons list, the worst case scenario thinking, the decision making framework, the 10-10-10 rule. And, this is, how will this decision impact me in the next 10 minutes, the next 10 months, or the next 10 years? It's for forecasting. So those are just a few strategies. The 5-second rule is make the decision within the next 5 seconds. Because if you make the decision outside of 5 seconds, you're going to start giving yourself a bunch of reasons as why it can't be done. Obviously, the pros and cons list is simply just looking at the things that will add to your life and the things that will take away, the things that will be good for you, the things that will be bad, the things that will be good with the decision that is made, and the negatives that you can either live with or that you don't want included. Those are the pros and cons. And then the worst case scenario is just saying, if I make this decision, where will I be? And if I don't make the decision, what's the worst that can happen? I tell myself this all the time, and we say this to ourselves all the time, or make a habit of it when we start applying for new jobs and new careers, right? We tell ourselves, I'm going to put it in an application. What's the worst that they can tell me? No, I don't have a job now as it is. So the worst case scenario is that I continue not having a job. That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is that I get the job and I finally start working on my career and I finally start being fulfilled in my life the way I want to be. I start shaping my life and seeing my life the way it's supposed to be. So you can kind of call that the worst case and best case scenario framework of thinking, right? And I know this saying is getting played out, but you got to trust the process. The process is the process. There's no way you're going to circumvent it. There's no way you're going to get around it. There's no way you're going to get above it and beyond it and below it. You're not, if you find a lot of shortcuts to some place, you're not going to value it. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to hold on to it. And most likely the person that you need it to be when you get to the destination, you're not going to be. So trust the process. The process is what it is. Do it the way it's supposed to be done. If you trust the process, you're going to have the right character. You're going to have the right knowledge base. You're going to have the right confidence. You're going to have the right skills and attributes needed to keep the position, to get to the end goal, to keep your prize, to be able to hold on and grasp onto your ideas and your dreams, your aspirations. But if you take a whole bunch of shortcuts, you're not going to keep it. It's going to be short-lived, and then you're just going to have a bunch of regrets that you got to live with after that. And then most likely you're going to have to do it again and again and again and again and again. You don't want that. And so ultimately, I'll close with this. I want you to trust yourself. Just begin to trust yourself just a little bit. I'm not saying go out here and make these monumental life-changing decisions today. Quitting drinking starts with deciding not to take one drink, deciding not to open that one bottle. That's how you quit drinking. Quitting smoking decides that I'm not going to open that pack of cigarettes. I'm not going to smoke that cigarettes. I'm not even going to go to the store to buy cigarettes. Trusting yourself starts with those small decisions that we often take for granted every single day. And we say to ourselves, oh, it's just one more. It's just one more. And then 10 years down the line, you wish you had quit smoking when you get that health diagnosis. You wish you had quit drinking when you get that DUI or you get that health diagnosis. You get that pile-on of regrets because you didn't make those little small decisions, because we looked at making those decisions as this massive event to say, if I make this decision now, I got to quit everything altogether. I got to become this new person now. That's not the case. You become a new person. You stop drinking. You stop smoking. You go back to school. You start loving again. You start dating again. You write a book. You write a thesis. You do anything you want to do in life with small decisions each and every single day. And those small decisions become life-changing ones. So trust yourself. You don't have to start trusting yourself with the small things, with the big things, but the small things. Trust yourself. You trust everybody else. When you go through the drive-thru, you trust that McDonald's or Burger King is going to make your food not only the way you want it to be made, but in a safe way so that you don't get sick. You trust that the bank teller is going to give you the proper amount of money. You trust your debit card to swipe. You trust the government to take care of you. You trust your car to get you from point A to point B. You trust your doctor to put you to sleep and wake you up and cure the thing that you went there to get fixed for. You trust your dentist to go in your mouth. You trust the authors enough to read the books that they have written. You trust the movie theater to be able to entertain you. You trust the actors to be able to act. You trust even Earth to produce enough air for you to properly breathe. And it's an enough proper mixture. You trust so many things, but you don't even trust yourself with the little things. You trust the airline pilots to get you where you want to be, not only get you to where you want to be, but get you there safely every moment of the day. You trust your Uber driver. So if you trust all these people with these massive things, why can't you trust yourself with the small things, with the decision to say, you know what, I won't eat that unhealthy thing today. I won't pick up that drink today. I won't go buy cigarettes today. I won't make that decision that's unhealthy for me today. Let me decide to make this small decision today because I know inaction will get me nowhere. And oftentimes it will force me to stay exactly where I am or backslide. So let me decide today not to do what is holding me back. And that sounds insignificant. But this small decision will more than likely be the most significant one you ever decide in your entire life. Deciding to love again has made many healthy couples. Deciding to go back to school has made many amazing doctors, teachers, authors, speakers, presidents. Deciding to write a book produced J.R. Tolkien, J.K. Rowling's, George R.R. Martin. The list goes on and on and on. So why can't you make these small decisions? So my call to action today for you is to begin trusting yourself with the small things. And this is how you build confidence over time to where you can finally get to the point where you can trust yourself with the big things. Trust yourself. You got this. Because let me tell you something. Nobody loves you more than you. God loves you more than you. But nobody on this planet Earth loves you more than you. Nobody else is going to look out for your best interests more than you. Nobody wants you to succeed more than you. Nobody can get you to where you want to be more than you. So therefore, I know 1 + 1 = 2. So I know for a fact that if I want to get anywhere, I need to understand that I need to believe in it. I need to believe in it. I need to make the decision each and every moment of the day to go out there and do the thing, to put my best foot forward, to make those small decisions and trust myself in those decisions. So that when I get to where I planned on being and where God wanted me to be, I not only show up, but I show out. Because I trusted the process. I am the right person. I have the right amount of character. I have the specific amount of knowledge base to prosper when I get to the end goal. That's my call to action to you. Trust yourself with the small things. Trust the process. Trust in God above. And I promise you, if you do all those things, you'll get to exactly where you want to be. But today, it starts with making a small decision a small decision to either do something or to no longer do that thing that's holding you back. What will you decide today? But I do need you to make a decision. Hey, you all are awesome, amazing, wonderful human beings. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. And as always, if you're too afraid to walk beyond your fears, you'll never be brave enough to run into your destiny. Have a good one.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitted for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming, what we